Welcome back to week 2 of our 6 weeks of holiday deals in our Sew Steady gift guide. This week is all about templates, and we have so many. And these are those magic tools that help you create the perfect designs every time, and these gorgeous quilts. So buy any template, get one free. These are the rulers that have truly changed the quilting world. So stock up for yourself or give a gift to a quilting friend this season. Whether you buy a single template or a set of templates, you will get a free surprise template or set of like value with it. Don't forget to sign up to win. This week we're giving away a quilting template of choice and that bonus free template. Every entry also counts towards our grand prize that's going to be a holiday wish table package and our Elevate Quilt Box, over a $800 value for one lucky winner. So don't wait. Shop now, save big, and enter to win. Happy holidays. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be diving into this amazing Pinwheel Spark book. This is really sparked, no play on words there, by the Shadow Dizzy Geese block of this quarter. Now, Shadow Dizzy Geese is a variation of our Pinwheel series. Our Pinwheel series began with a tool set called our Pinwheel cutting rulers. And there's two different sizes that they're offered in, a 6-inch size and a 12-inch size. And we just created this amazing opportunity with Accuquilt, who has taken our pinwheel blocks and cutting dies and turned them into a brand new Go die. So instead of having the individual dies to individual rulers to cut out these shapes, you now have the opportunity to buy an Accuquilt Go die to be able to create many different blocks. So today we're taking you through the Pinwheel Spark book, where we're going to dive into 6 of the blocks that are highlighted inside this book. Now we're going to start that series. I'm actually only going to be doing 4 of the blocks today, and then we're going to have another playback where we actually finish the quilt and we go ahead and do the embroidery quilting with our Shadow Dizzy Geese embroidery collection. So we're going to go ahead and finish it once we in about a week or so. So that being said, let's go ahead and have Mendy take it away, where she's going to be creating 4 of the blocks out of the 6 blocks in this quilt. And this again is called our Pinwheel Spark sampler quilt. Thanks so much.
Hello everybody, Mendy with Sew Steady here. Today we're going to be making a block out of our Pinwheel series. This is called Starburst, and it is in this Pinwheel Spark book. This is a sampler journey, and there's 9 blocks in here that actually we extracted from a Pinwheel book. App disconnected. Okay. Why did the app disconnect? Starburst block, take 2. Hi everyone, Mendy Tippets with Sew Steady here. Today we're going to be making a block called Starburst, and it's from our Pinwheel series of blocks. We're going to be making a sampler quilt, and all of the blocks are coming out of this book called the Pinwheel Spark. There's 9 different blocks in this book, and then this was extracted from a larger book that Leonie West made that involves, I don't know, probably about 15, maybe 20 different blocks that you make out of the Pinwheel set. We have tools that you can purchase that make all the shapes for all of these Pinwheel blocks. And we've also partnered with Accuquilt, who made a board. Hi everybody, Mendy Tippets with Sew Steady here. Today we're going to be working on the Pinwheel Spark sampler quilt. And this book is going to be our source of information. This is a sampler journey, and it has 9 blocks in it that are from a larger pinwheel book that Leonie West created. And what we've done is extract 9 blocks out of it and made it kind of a mini resource for us. So this block that we're going to work on today is called Starburst. And let me get to the page here. I'll show you in the book. It's on 15. Here we go. All right. So here is what it looks like in the book. It shows you the block itself, and it shows you the pieces that we need to cut and how to construct the block. We have a pinwheel set for cutting out all of these shapes, and we have also partnered with Accuquilt, who has created a die in partnership with us to represent all of the pinwheel blocks that are in the Westerly Design portfolio. So today I'm going to be using the Accuquilt Go to cut out all of the shapes for us. But once again, we have a pinwheel die or a pinwheel cutting tools that will allow you to manually cut them as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let me show you the board. Take that off. So these are all of the shapes. I'm going to back up the camera just a tidge here and maybe get it up a little higher. So these are all of the shapes that are included to be able to make all of the different blocks that we're going to be dealing with. So today I've made 3/4 of this block, and we're just going to be constructing the last quadrant of it. Okay. So for this block, we need to have A, F, H, and D. So let me show you what we're going to do here. The A, I'm going to need 2 of these, which is what I call the petals. So make sure I've got it so everything's going to line up correctly. Yep, there we go. All right, then we have D here, and I picked background material that's kind of hard to tell which way it's right or ups and downs. So there we go. We've got that on there. And then looks like I'm missing the blue for the H, but we'll keep going here. F is going to be right here. So we're going to put that right there. And then I need the corner. So I need 1 petal out of white as well. All right. So let's go ahead and put the board on here. H is down here, but I don't seem to have the fabric right now. So we're just going to continue with what we got here. All right. Let's go ahead and clear the deck over here and put the board in. So I am going to kind of press all the areas that had fabric to try to reduce the static cling so that the fabric actually remains on the board. I was almost totally successful. These kept on the board, or on the top here. This worked, however. That's great. This one, and I dropped my other two ones down here, so let me pick that up. I will be looking for those. All right, there's that, and then there's our side. Okay, so give me a minute and I'll see you back at the sewing machine. Okay, here we are at the sewing machine, and I always like to lay it out so I can really see. This is the quadrant that we're going to be working with, and I put the petals, as I call them, in the order that they're going to be. These two are pointing out. This is the top. These two are pointing out. This is the side, and then this petal is facing up. And on the other one that I've already completed, that petal is facing down. So now we're going to take F and attach it to H. And this is going to be the left version of it. And this is the right-hand version of it. And the instructions are very good at showing you the difference. So it just walks you directly through how to do it. So let me go ahead and get these sewn together real quickly, and then we'll take it to the next step. I'm not even going to pin these because they're just so small. They won't take that much time here, and they won't move that much. All right, here we go. And then here's the second one. Let's go ahead and get that in place there. All right. Now, let me cut these apart. Putting down the foot. Okay, so now we're going to take this one, and I'm just going to finger press it for right now. And we are going to be attaching this. Let's see here. This one was our right-hand side. So the, let's see. No, this is the left-hand side. Okay, so this is going to get attached to this like this. Okay, so your F and your H are attached to your A. And I'm going to go ahead and just sew that right now. I'm going to get this out of my way because it looks very much like what I'm working with. There we go. We'll leave this up here. Okay. All right, finger press this one now, and let's go ahead and take that out. All right. So now we see that this one goes here, and then this one has to go over here, like this. So we're going to take this and put it right there. There we go. That's going to go ahead and we're going to press a little bit more here. I have I just didn't want to take the time to go and press it. I'll take that time in just a minute here. Okay. And there we go. Let's put this under here. I just want to make sure it's going to end up exactly where we want it to. All right. And then the last thing that we need to attach is our corner piece, which is the white piece. So there's that. So if we take a look now, we can see that we've got this going on and this going on, but over here we need to get the corner going on this one. So just a second, I got the wrong piece here. One sec. All right, there's that one. I need it to go, yeah, like that. There we go. Okay, so this is D. This is the corner piece. And you can see this little edge right here. That piece is always going to be at the outer edge of the petal because this is the corner piece. So we're going to put it right there, and it will end right at the tip of the petal. Okay, so now we're going to take this and come and sew together. Okay, so give me a second. I'm going to go press, and then we'll talk about the pressing. Okay, so the magic of video, this is all pressed and ready to go. But what I want you to see is what I call the horns. So if you look in this picture of this block, you'll see these horns that are coming out. And so this would represent this part, and this represents this part. So that's how you know for sure that you've got it all put together. Now, as for pressing, what I want you to see is that we always press on the corner piece. You're going to press to the inside because this is going to be the middle of the block. And on these two supporting actors, you're going to press to the outside, okay? On this particular block, it's got a lot of stuff coming into the center, so we're really trying to minimize all of our bulk. So now what we're going to do is start to put this together. And I think what we'll do is put this one first, just because it really doesn't matter which one you do first or second. And I am going to pin on this one because it's a little bit longer distance. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get that there. And I can't talk when I have a pin in my mouth. I really want to make sure that my corners up here are coming out together the right way. So I'm going to make that my priority of where I start pinning. All right, there's that. And then this one here. So 3 pins in all, top, bottom, and middle. All right, now let's go ahead and take this through the sewing machine. And I'll get you a little closer here and maybe a little lower. Okay. Oops. Meant to cut my thread. There we go. Okay. So now the other thing that's kind of counterintuitive, because in quilting we never do this, but in garment seamstressing you do. So we're going to be pressing these seams that are connecting to the center wide open. And that's all in that effort to diminish the amount of bulk that is going to end up in that center. And the reason that's so important is that when you go to quilt this, you don't want that center to be really bulky. You want to be able to quilt any design you want, even if it goes through the center of the block. All right, I'm just going to finger press that right now. I'll finish doing that when we get the other one attached. Okay, so now we're going to take this one and do the same song, second verse. Here, once again, I'm going to start up at the top and top. This one is going to have a seam that connects to the seam on the other side. So this is the only seam that connects in this whole block, is that one seam on each section, or on each quadrant. So we do definitely want to butt those seams together, make sure you have a good intersection. And then we're going to take the very bottom and pin that. Oh, I'm so sorry, we didn't get to see that. So here, let me show you on the film. So the top, I start just where I want it. I butt up my two seams together, and then the bottom comes out right there. All right, so let's take a quick opportunity to sew this. I got my pin overextended. All right, so there is our quadrant. So now let's take the pins out. All right, so there it is. It looks awesome. I'm going to take it over, press it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I've got it pressed. So here is what I did with those seams, as I told you I was going to do. Press them wide open. It makes everything laid really flat. So now we're going to start putting together our block. We have our 4 quadrants. These 2 are already done. These, as I already told you, the white petal is, the tip is facing up. And then on this bottom one, the white petal, the tip is facing down. So that's how you know that you've got it constructed in the right manner. So now we're going to put these 2 together. And I think what I'm going to do is start at the outside and work in. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and put it here. And get that lined up. I'm not even going to pin this. One thing I do want to make sure though is that all the seams are coming together in that center. So you want to make sure that those seams are lined up properly, because that's what everybody's going to look at when they look at the block, is the center, to see how did I line it all up. All right. So let's take a look and see how we did. Pretty good. We're going to have our seam coming across here. So now I'm going to finger press this again. And actually, I'm going to take a minute because this is an important seam. So I'll be right back. I'm going to. Okay, we're back. We're pressed. Now we're putting these together. And the most important thing again is that center. So I definitely am pinning here. All right, then I'm going to just take it over here. And you know, if you're not exact, don't worry, we're going to trim these down anyway for the final project, so it's okay. You don't have to sweat the little stuff here. There you go. And then we're going to come over here and get that straightened away. We'll just pin at the very end. All right. So now this is the main seam on the block. Here we go. Get you a little closer. Down a little bit. There we go. When I get to that hump in the middle, we kind of need to help it get over it. Okay, now let's take a look at what we got here. I'm going to raise you up a little bit. All right, let's take our pins out. And now let's go ahead and get this open. We'll take a look right here. Look how pretty that is in the center. See how everything comes together so beautifully? Now our efforts are going to be to diminish what is in the middle there. So when I go to press, I am going to press all this wide open, as I've already said, and you've seen. So let me just finger press real quick here. Finger press here. And then what we're going to do is kind of just pick away at that center. And sometimes there's a couple of stitches you might need to take out, but all we're really trying to do is get everything laying flat and in the direction that it's supposed to be in, okay? So now you can already see, I'll show you after I get it pressed, but you can already see that that is laying much flatter. And that's the whole goal. You don't want it to ever look like you have a big knot in that center place. All right, I'll be right back to show you the finished block. Okay, so here's the block all finished, all pressed. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. And I'll see you next time. Hi everybody, Mendy Tippets here with Sew Steady. Today we're going to be working with the Pinwheel Spark Book. This is a sampler journey through the pinwheel options of blocks. This little book here is an extract of a much larger book, more detailed, that Leonie West made to accompany our pinwheel cutting tools. We have also partnered with Accuquilt, and they have made a die with all the same shapes as our pinwheel cutting tools, so that now you have the option of working with Accuquilt Die or with the pinwheel tool set to cut your pieces for this very specific block. The block that we're working with specifically today is the Shadow Dizzy Geese, which happens to be the featured block for our fourth quarter boxes. So this is the Shadow Dizzy Geese block. I've made 3/4 of the block, so today we're going to construct this quadrant, and then we're going to put that block together. So give me a second here. I'm going to remove this, and I'll show you the board that has all the various pieces on it. that we're going to work with here. The other thing I wanted to show you is this book is really going to be your Bible when you're constructing the blocks that are in here and that are in the sampler quilt that we're making. This is a bigger version, if you will, of the project that we're making. I'm going to make 5 of the blocks. So we're going to be doing basically that size. And it's been a lot of fun to work with. Okay, Shadow Dizzy Geese. Let's see what page that's on. That is on page 7 and 8. So let's go here. Here we go. Here is Shadow Dizzy Geese. One of the things that really has always intrigued me, I think also more so with this pinwheel version, is the placement of fabric and how different it can make a block look. This is a great example of how different that block looks versus what I was just showing you here with this. So this is the same block, but it comes out looking just so dramatically different. So I always enjoy that. So when we were putting together this book, sorry, I can't talk. This book, one of the things I requested would be that there would be coloring pages at the back. So what we've done is created each block that's featured in here. And this allows you to go photocopy this. And as you're looking at your color selections and your fabric, it gives you a chance to kind of play with where you want to put it. And I know that there are some softwares out there, if you're lucky enough to have that, use that. If not, grab your colored pencils, your crayon, your colored markers, whatever, and go back to when you were, 6, 7, 8 years old and do a little bit of coloring. I think it's good for your soul too. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the pieces that we're going to need for this block. Okay, we're going to need our A, which is in every single block, I think. That's what I call the petals, okay? F is going to be right here, and this is going to be an outside, it's your the outside border of the block, okay? And then G is the corner position right here. And then H is the shadow part. So it's the little part that sticks here and makes the shadow to it. Okay, so I've already pre-cut my fabric. And for this one, let me bring the quadrant over here. We are working with 3 different shades of green, the turquoise for the shadow, and then white for the outside. So let's start with the A, and I just need one of each one because we're just doing one quadrant. So I've layered these so that I can just do one setting of this. Let me make sure I did that right. Oh no, that's okay. Let me get this going right. Okay, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And I've actually laid them down in the order that I'm going to use them. So that helps me stay straight in that regard too. All right, so we're going to put it down here. I'm just going to layer it right there. And I'm going to leave the tail off the edge there. All right, so then Where's my other fabric here? Here we go. I had my blue here. This is the second time I've lost my, oh, here it is on the floor. My blue is the little H. And for this quadrant, I do need 3. So that one is down here. Let me push this up so you can see it. There we go. So this is H, and we go 1, 2, and 3. Let me make sure that's not going to get cut off. I think we're good. All right, I'm going to finger press that a little bit there. Okay, and then we need 2 F's and the G. So the G is here, and what I'm going to do here, I just had one long piece. I'm going to cut that off so I can get our F's going too. All right, so all right, just want to make sure that you cover it if you're using the die. And I like to have at least 1/4 of an inch around so it properly cuts it. Sometimes if I'm doing multiple layers, because you can cut up to 6 layers at one time, I might not get it perfect, but there's enough leeway that it always has worked out. Okay, and then our F, we need 2 of them. And that's going to be right here, and we're going to need them to go both ways. So we need a right and a left. So we're going to take this like this, and then I am going to just cut that fabric too. So give me a second. And as you can tell, you don't have to be real precise with this part. Okay. We're going to lay that right there and right there. All right, and now we're going to put our board over the top. Those are all the pieces we need for this quadrant. There we go. Let me clear the deck where this is going to come out, and we'll get this going here. All right. Okay, now I'm gonna just take my fist and kind of press down on this. What I'm trying to do is reduce the static cling so that when I pull this board off, the fabric will stay where it's supposed to. So 2 out of 3, you know, or 3 out of 4, not bad. This one wanted to come with me. Okay, that's fine. That's the one that was there. So let me put this back over here, and we'll gather our bits and pieces here. All right, so there's the 3 petals. Here's the shadows that we're going to work with. Here is the F piece that's going to be part of the frame, the outside of the block, and the corner piece of the quadrant for us. Okay, so let's just go ahead and leave this here, and I'm going to meet you back at the sewing machine. Okay, here we are at the sewing machine, and once again I've got the instructions out. So we're going to be connecting F to H and then FH to A. But what I want to show you is you have a left and a right. So you're cutting your fabric, you know, together, 2 layers. So you're going to separate those, your left and your right. So you're putting the shadow in different positions on both of those because of how it lays out. Then on your G piece, which is right here, you'll notice there's a little flat area here. Well, there's actually two flat areas. So whenever you put this together, you want to make sure that you've got this one here, and then you're putting the shadow right here. Now, it's really easy to get these going the wrong direction, but you'll know immediately, even though it will fit, that it's not right here. So your piece, your shadow piece, has to be flat up against the edge of all of them. Okay, so that goes for that one, and this one. All right, so now, and then I've got my my three pieces here that I've laid out, and I've laid them out in the right order because I laid them down in the right order. That's another thing if you're using a multiple patterns, because they're all the same shape. I've mixed them up, and you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. I've taken out my share of blocks. So just little tricks of the trade. If you're going to have different patterns, lay them out in the order that you want to use them, because it just ensures that you'll have better success in making sure it's all comes together right. All righty, now let's go ahead and do some sewing. So I'm going to get this kind of out of our way because that'll be in the way of the needle. I'll put that up there. And then I'm not even going to bother to do any kind of pinning because these are just little tiny pieces. So let's go ahead and get this going right here. All right. And here we go. Here we go. And here we go. All right. Let's cut them apart. Now, what I want to do is run over to the pressing area. Let me get a good press on these, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to start putting it together. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back from pressing, and now we're going to be putting our pieces together. So this is the left side of F. I put that shadow right there, and that's going to go on this end of A. All right, so we're just going to place it there for right now. This is the corner piece, so this is the middle of your petals. This cut off end, that edge, is going to go right to the edge of your petal, and it's going to get laid in there like that. And then on the last one, this is the right side of F, and same song, second verse. There's that cut off edge, which is actually the corner of the block, or corner of the quadrant, and then we're going to lay it right like that. Okay, so let me do a little bit of pinning here because I don't want these to move too much. So I think I'm going to move the camera just a little bit too and get you a little bit down like this. So we've got this one pinned, and let's do this one. I'm going to pin right on the seam, I think, there. And then the middle one here. Okay. So I'm gonna do them in order. So I'm gonna do that one last, this one middle, and this one first. Okay, here we go. I've got my scant 1/4 inch guide on. I love to use that. It just helps me make sure that my seams are always standard and get that scant 1/4 inch that I'm striving for. the corner piece. And then last but certainly not least, okay, we've got those put together now. Let's go ahead and separate them. Take the little one pin out of each one of them. And now I am going to go back to the pressing table, but the magic on the pressing on these is that on the corner pieces, you're always going to press towards the center, and this is going to be the center of the block up here. So you're going to press that one towards the center, and these two you're going to press to the white or to the outside of the block, okay? All right, I'll be right back after I get this pressed, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so now you can actually see how this is going to come together here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this, I typically always work one direction. I don't know why, but I usually work from top to bottom in my mind. That may not make sense to you, left to right, whatever you want to call it. And it may not matter to you. It's just that I'm easily confused. So, all right, let's go ahead and get a couple of pins in here. I think I'm going to do it right about midway. Okay, put that off to the side. Okay, let's cut the thread, take our pins out. Now, the one thing that we're going to do different that we usually wouldn't do in quilting, you do when you're making garments, but not in quilting, is we are going to press open these seams that are going to the center. And the reason for that is that this block has a lot going to the center, and we are trying to diminish the bulk of that center area. And by pressing these open, you're going to have a significant impact on how the block looks when it's finished, how it lays, but more importantly, you're going to be able to quilt over it when you go to put your quilt together. So I've just fingered ironed this, and that's good enough for right now. We're going to go ahead and put our other piece on now. And let's see here, we did it this way. See how easily I get confused? Okay, so now we're going to put this here, and we're going to put this here and here. And I'm going to start down by the edge of it. And we're going to pin right there. Now this one does have a seam that we're going to want to match up. Oh, nope, it was on the other one. Oh, this one doesn't have it. Sorry, it's another block. I've been doing a lot of blocks. In fact, this is the last one in the series. Okay, there's that one. And then on this one, I think I will put a pin down at the end because I did finger press that one open, and I want to make sure that when I stitch over it, it remains open. So let's go ahead and put one more pin in here. I can feel it. There we go. All right, let's make sure. Yeah, I got it open. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. All right. Oh, meant to cut the thread. All right, now let's take our pin out. And now what I'm going to do is go to the pressing table, press this, and I'll be right back. All right, so here it is all pressed. Here's where I pressed open these seams. Everything's laying nice and flat. So now we're going to go ahead and put these two quadrants together. And, oops, we don't want to do it that way. Okay, where am I at here? We don't want our two greens to be together. No, you know what I think I've done? I think I put this backwards. All right, told you I was easily confused. I'll be right back. Okay, so what I've done is I put these two in the wrong place. So now I'm getting my handy dandy ripper out here, and I'm going to have to deconstruct this and then move these pieces, and I'll come back when I've got it done right. Okay, we're back, and it's magically fixed. I did have to deconstruct and swap this one and this one. I messed up, but the pieces were all in the right place, meaning these F, H, or F, G, and H were all in the right place. Just my colors were wrong. So, okay, now we're ready to go ahead and put this together. So we're going to take these centers and get this matched up here. And let's see here. I want to see where I want to be. I'm trying to kind of square up this whole thing. There we go. I like that a lot. So let's go ahead and put a pin in here. This is where all the things are coming to the center. We have a lot of roundabouts here, so think of it as a roundabout. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get that there and get that going. Hello quilters, Mendy Tippets here with Sew Steady. Today we're going to be working on a pinwheel sampler quilt. And the first block that we're going to be doing is the pinwheel. And I'm going to be operating out of this book called Pinwheel Spark. It's kind of a subset out of a much larger, more robust book that Leonie West has to go with her pinwheel cutting tools. We've also partnered with Accuquilt, and we have a pinwheel board that has all the shapes that I'm going to be showing you throughout this project on this board. So you can make it with your Accuquilt, or you can make it with the pinwheel cutting tools that we sell at Sew Steady. So let me get to the right page of this book, which is going to be, let me go to the glossary here. Our pinwheel is on page 20 and 20 to 22. So let's go there. All right. here we go. So this is the page that will describe the parts that you need both for the Accuquilt board and for our cutting tools in order to make this block. So here's the block that I've started. I've got 3/4 of it done, and what we're going to do today is cut the other pieces and do this quadrant of the block and then put it together. So give me a second to get my cutting tools out, and we'll excuse me, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my Accuquilt board here, and it's got all of my pieces on it. We've been using the heck out of this, so it's well worth the money. It goes very, very quickly. So using our Pinwheel Spark Book, I need to be cutting out two, I'm just going to call them out by part and by color. So this is part A, and I need 2 of the green, 1 of the blue. I need 1 of the D's, which is the corner piece, and 2 C's. So let's go ahead. I've already pre-cut my little strips here. Let's go ahead and lay that out so we can get started. So this is my D over here, and I'm going to be putting it right like that. I want to make sure that I've got enough room on all 4 corners to get the right shape cut out, and I don't want any of that salvage. So I think I'm good there. All right, now we're going to go to A, and I'm using one of the pieces that I cut from previously. I'd love to use my scraps. It makes me feel so good. So we're going to do, that's the 1 blue, and then here are the 2 greens that I need. So I'm going to make sure where this starts. It starts there, so I can pull this back a little bit. Let's make sure that's still good. Yep, I'm good there. This is still good, and there. And then I need 2 C's, which are over here. And once again, I've got some salvage that I don't want to deal with. So we're going to start up here and go down like this. And I'm going to lay that. Okay, that's all we need to make this quadrant of the block. So let me turn this on. There we go. We're going to put our board on here and take things off so we can make this thing go. You can imagine how much faster this is when you're doing multiple layers. So you can do 6 safely at one time, and very accurately. I will say this is way more accurate than my cutting, but it does depend on how you put it on there. Okay, so here are all the pieces that we need. So give me a second, and I'm going to meet you back at the sewing machine. Okay, I'm back at the sewing machine now, and I wanted to show you how we're going to lay out the block. This is A to C, A to D, and A to C. So if you follow the instructions in the book, that'll show you exactly how to put together your 3 petals with the supporting pieces. Now with the pinwheel, the blue, the blue is always going to be the corner piece. All of these pinwheels are all going counterclockwise, okay? And then the others are connecting together to make more of a diamond shape for the green connections. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to take our C, which is right here, and we're going to put it like that. Well, actually, you want a straight line there. And then you're going to take this one and connect it right there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do a pin job here. 1 second. Then the next one is going to be D. And actually, I think I'll do the 2 C's because those are the quick and easy and they kind of go the same way. But it is important that you note the way that they do go together because one ends up longer than the other one. So it does matter. You can't put them all the same. All right. Here is our A to C for the step 1. All right. Then step 3 is here. And we're going to put our C right here. Okay. Let me do a quick pin on that. All right. And sorry. I'll be right there. I do find that I like to pin longer cuts because, you know, keeping your seam allowance steady and the same is really imperative to having all this come out to look like it should. Okay, so now we have got our D, and D is going to be right there. Okay, and we're going to be putting our connection with this right now. You do have to pay attention because there is, see this right here? That means that our D, the corner has to be there. So we're going to connect it like this. All right, so let me go ahead and pin that, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I wanted to show you pinned what it looked like. So you're always on all of these when you're doing, these are the outside frame of the block. All of these are always going to get pinned to what I call the peak side, never the flat side of what I call the petal. Okay, so here you can see on this side that I'm taking the end of that petal to where that cutoff is and then pinning it back to the other edge. All right, let's go ahead and get these sewn together now, and we'll get it to the next step. Okay, let's get that book out of the way. And here we go. I've got my Sew Straight guide. I love this thing. It helps me be really consistent with my scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. One, and here's 2. And 3. All right. Now I'm just going to go and do a quick press and I'll be right back. Okay, so the only thing I wanted to show you here is that when you're pressing on the corner piece, always the one that gets the big corner piece, you're going to press to the center, because this is going to be the center of the block here. And on the other two supporting players, you're going to press to the outside of the block. That way you do have an intersection right here, and your seams will be going in opposite directions. Because it is a pinwheel, we're going to have a lot of stuff coming into the center of this block. So we're going to be doing some things that are a little contrary to what we normally do when we're quilting, which means we're going to be pressing some seams open to diminish the amount of bulk that we end up with in the center. Okay, I'm just doing a quick pin here of my the side one to the center, and we'll do a quick seam. Here we go. And this is the one that had the connecting seams, so I made sure that those were butted up against each other so the intersection is real clean. All right, I didn't pin it up here, so let me line that up. All right, let's go ahead and stop that. And before we go do anything more at the pressing table, we're going to attach the other one. And we're just going to finger press here on the end. And because I want to make sure that that's going to be sewn down in the right direction. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take this one to this one, and you can see how that makes the corner. So let me pin this real quick, just a couple. I don't want to over pin it, but I do want to make sure that the really important areas, which is the beginning and the end, are in the right place. Okay, there's that one. And then we'll just do one more pin anywhere up in here. Okay, let's do it right about there. Okay, here we go. So you can see that my finger pressing, I press that open, I'm putting this down, and here we go. Alrighty. So now let me go do another quick press job, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is sewn together. So A to C, A to D, and A to C. Now we're going to put this together with the other half, and now you see the fourth or the half of the block that we need to put together now. So we're going to be going ahead and pinning these two halves together, and let me go ahead and see if I can do this. That's the other thing I wanted to show you. So see the all these seams are pressed open on both sides, and that is going to help significantly diminish the bulk in that center. Okay, so let's just put one more pin in here, and there we go. All right, let's go ahead and sew this together. Oh, come on. Sometimes it doesn't like to get started. Me either. Sometimes I just want coffee in bed. All right, here we go. Okay, now I'll be right back again after I do another press job, and I am going to press this seam wide open because it's going to the center as well. Okay, now we're ready to put these two halves together, and so you can see the press job wide open there, wide open here. And we're going to make sure that for sure that intersection, that's the most important intersection on this block, is that center, because you want everything to come together beautifully. So that is going to be my first pin, and everything else works out from there. I'm just going to put a couple in here on, actually a total of 3, one in the center, and one about halfway and halfway. All right, so let's go ahead and do our scant 1/4 inch seam allowance right now. And I got that there. Here we go. I just kind of want to baby it over all that bulk. Okay. Now on this one, I think I'm going to have you join me at the pressing table, because I'll show you how we make sure to get that all flattened in the center. So I'll see you there. Okay, so here we are. I start by finger pressing so that I can just kind of get a good easy run at it. I'm going to go right up to the center and kind of stop. Now I'm going to turn and do the other side. Next, same song, second verse. Let's just get it opened and ready to do its part in this mission. Now, when it comes to the center, I want to take my finger, and sometimes I even take a seam ripper, because there could be 1 or 2 little stitches that aren't wanting to play nicely, and you can just clip them. But I have been pretty successful here. So I've just kind of finger pressed it down in the center. Now I'm going to take this, being pretty careful not to ruin, which I already did right here. Try not to change your pressing that you've already accomplished. All right, there we go. All right. Now let's turn it over and do a press job here. And here you go. Ta-da! There is our pinwheel block. And look at how flat that is. Trust me, I made several of these blocks before I made the executive decision that that's what I needed to do. And they were not near that pretty in the center. And why that means something to me is when I go to put the quilt together and I'm quilting, I need that to be quiltable. Because I can't be positive where my needle's going to end up all the time. So if you have that real bulky center, that will be problematic later when you're going to do your quilting. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this. That Pinwheel Spark Book is extremely good source to help you put together the blocks. And I hope you join me on the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. So that is our show for today. We're going to be finishing this Pinwheel Spark book with two more blocks in a couple of weeks. So you've got some time to catch up if you want to grab that new Pinwheel Accuquilt Die and get your quilt started. I highly encourage it. That just started shipping on Tuesday. You can purchase that directly from Accuquilt, or we even have it on our website. So you should head on over there. We do have a special offer, part of our 6 weeks of deals that's kicking off on Monday. So you might even hold off until Monday to take advantage of the bonus offer, which is going to be our spinning ribbon embroidery collection that comes with that Accuquilt die. But we really appreciate you joining us today. We've got another awesome class for you tomorrow that is actually out of that Pinwheel Spark book called Our Stacked Triangle Bag by Deb Donovan. She'll be doing the quilting on that. You'll have the opportunity to purchase that bag project as well. So definitely join us. We'd love to have you then. If you got here late, which I think a few of you did, you're more than welcome to go back and watch the full video today. It'll be available on YouTube for and in our Shadow Dizzy playlist, Shadow Dizzy Geese Block playlist on YouTube. And then, of course, you'll be able to access the full videos on our So Steady University, which you can head on over to if you're part of our Elevate Club to be able to access your class series there. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you for joining us.